What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to Thrylos International Sunday World Cup edition. Just kidding, we're not touching too much on World Cup, but the World Cup is going on, and it has been a wild ride indeed. But we got plenty of stuff to talk about for Olympiacos and the preseason that has begun, plus the transfers that have started rolling in. I've got Lambro joining me today. Lambro, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing good. How are you, Adi?
I saw Fuller and Balogun got his red card rescinded. First time ever.
Yeah, shout out to President Trump on that one. That's what the media is saying. So crazy.
Yeah. Wild.
Crazy.
Wild. Absolutely wild. Well, guys, before we
Going
get
full
started,
AFCON on us. Let's go.
Yes. Don't forget, guys, to like and subscribe for those of you that are tuning in. Every engagement helps us find more red and white fans. You can also find us on Patreon and get some extra content and help continue to support the channel. So a lot of great stuff going on. Check us out on all platforms. Oh my goodness. I've got another Olympiacos fan here joining us.
Ugh. Oh no. Which one is this, Adi?
This is Yorgo. This is number 2. You say hi? No, that's about all you're getting. You didn't meet this one, Lambro. You met Mihaly.
No, I met Mihaly.
Well, we'll get started, Lambro. I'll let you introduce these first cuts for me. We're talking about preseason, obviously, first and foremost. The club announced earlier this week the first cuts. And Lambro, I apologize. Give me just a moment so I can get this situated.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, guys, the team traveled to the Netherlands last week to kick off summer training, and we saw the players who were left behind. So a few surprises. I think Adi had mentioned that he thought Papacanelos would go with the squad, at least to get a look in. From all we've heard, he's been pretty bang average over at Rio Ave, not really impressed much. So not really surprising that he's not making it. Maybe another year at Rio Ave, and then you kind of make the decision whether to cut him loose or keep him around. And then a few, players, who were on the edge. We have Remi Cabea, who came back and was participant in training in Greece. And then also Gabriel Strefezza, who looks like he's out the door on the way to Italy. So both of those players got cut, with Yazici going down with the ACL. I thought maybe Remi Cabea could be part, until we bring in a few more of these wingers, get them across the line. Ari and I are going to be talking about, some of the people we're linked with and some of the signings that look very close to happening. So, but it's still a surprise, I would say, that Remi Cabea is left out. I don't know. Maybe his agent and he have offers from, some teams, and they're looking just to get out the door, get more playing time. He's pushing, I think, 36 or 37 years old. So that, that always tracks. Strefezza, I assume he also is on the verge of getting out the door. I don't think Parma activated his option by July 1st. So that means they're probably within negotiations right now. Most teams don't activate the option. They just negotiate, because the option is kind of like you have to pay all the money up front typically, or it's pretty rigid. So they may be negotiating and kind of ironing out the differences. So let's see. I think everything logical from the cut list. I think the next round of cuts may be more interesting. Adi, any thoughts on the first round of cuts, or, like I said, kind of logical?
Yeah, all expected. I know people were like, well, what about Diogo? Well, guys like Diogo weren't even in the conversation. Same with like Ruben Vezo. So they weren't even considered. So we didn't include that. But Papacanelos was like surprising that he was even called back to like the first training session in Greece. But in the end, we were told that he was going to get loaned somewhere. So anyway, he's going out on loan. Nothing surprising. Parma's still in negotiations. I expect Strefezza will be sold back. The club wants a sale, but I think Parma wants to do another loan if possible. We'll see what ends up happening, but nothing surprising so far with the first cuts. And then we have another signing that's been hasn't been announced yet, but he's supposed to be joining the team for preseason training tomorrow. That's Zinedin Smajlovic from Sandefjord in the Norwegian league. So very exciting center back prospect. We're spending total package around 6.5 million, including bonuses for this guy. It's a very expensive fee for what will be currently, as is, a fourth choice center back, but much better option than the Portuguese Domingos Duarte we were linked with. So I'm a lot happier with this move. And Lambda, we're finally seeing, like, you know, the transfers, they're moving. Everybody was pissed. June, all we kept hearing was, oh my God, the club's doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because Olympiacos fans for the last 5 years apparently don't understand the patterns of this club. We don't make moves in June. We actually made more moves in June this year than we have in the last like 6 years. So that's the funny part. But anyway, moves are happening. I know it's later than what everybody wanted, but they're coming, and there's still more players that are set to arrive. But how do you feel?
I think everything is sort of moving at a reasonable pace. Anyone, who's following would think, this is pretty reasonable. Like, we have the depth charts, which we can go over at some point. I think the real area that I'm looking at is like midfield. I'm not really comfortable there at the moment. I just, as a Musakiti, Scipioni, Dani Garcia, like, does that inspire any confidence in anybody? I'm looking forward to another 8, coming in, 8 or 6. I ideally would want to bring in another 8 to play with Musakitis. So like as a Musakitis, Scipioni, and then blank, and then Danny Garcia is your 5th choice, sort of rotationally. So, but I think, the club may feel, okay, we're solid with those 4. I just think it's quite a defensive 4 that we have right now, and maybe some of the academy guys can break in there, but knowing Mendilibar, that's doubtful. Goalkeeper position, we're set, so feel good about that. The right back position, I think we're pretty much set as well. If, unless they want to make a signing. Unless they, want to move Rodinei full-time to the wing, which sounds like that's what they want to do. So we can just pull this up. So yeah, I think at center back we're set, goalkeeper we're set, unless we have any sales. I think left back, I think they're trying to make moves on the market at the left back position.
Ortega has to be sold first.
The main issue, though, as you keep going through the squad, is the homegrown and Greek talent. You start to look around, and there's like not much anywhere, really. You have, what is it, Zolakis, you have Koutsidis, Retsos. I'm not even going to count the academy kids yet. Then in midfield, you have Musakitis, you have Fortunis, and that's it, really. That's really slim pickings. Like, I have a feeling here that we're going to have to go in for Giannoulis personally, Adi. I know the rumors have died down, but I think, the math needs to math here. If we're going to make a European squad list, especially here at the striker spot, we have 4 foreigners, man. It's unheard of. Something's going to have to go down here, I think.
Well, Clayton's gone, for sure.
Clayton is probably on the exodus. He looks fit, though. I saw some pictures, so I'm interested to see him in friendlies. The guy didn't even get a real chance, maybe this is a hot take, but I'd like to see Clayton get like 1 or 2 friendlies and play like 65, 70 minutes. Is that asking too much? I don't know.
No, I think he's going to get – I think he'll get some time, at least in phase 1. But honestly, man, I would be surprised if Clayton hasn't already gotten his loan before phase 2. I'm expecting – my expectation we can start – let's start from the defensive side of things.
Yeah.
I saw somebody made a comment – sorry. Somebody made a comment about Zolakis to Inter.
Not happening.
I could tell you right now, it is – maybe a phone call happened. That's it. There's nothing. Don't pay any attention to it. Mi vinis simasia, as they say. Anyway, defenders.
That was good.
The defender situation. Obviously, Koutsidis is at preseason. I'm hoping he gets rostered as 5th choice. Hoping. Don't know if that's 100%. It's the easy thing and probably the most basic thing you can do for numbers wise for club trained. But for sure, the club is signing 1 more right back. I really hoped that Siozios was like, okay, we're going into preseason with 1 right back and an academy kid, but if he does well, maybe he gets promoted, but
There's
it's
no
sound
chance.
from what we've heard, it sounds like he's just a body. I don't think they believe Siozios is like developed enough to be playing first team football.
The thing is, though, you could go with him, roster him, and then Rodinei is essentially your backup right back. And it's just like, okay, he's
Yeah,
available. We know he struggles defensively, but like you could play Rodinei in a pinch. And then, if we're looking at our resources, I think our resources would be better put, with the limited resources we have
right.
into like a better left back, let's say, and then roster
I
this
agree.
guy and have Rodinei kind of feature as a rotational right back if he just doesn't cut it. You know what I mean?
Right. Rather than just sign like a 32-year-old that's going to be
Yeah,
wasting space as a backup, because you're right. Like, think about it.
yeah,
Between Carmo and now Smajlovic, we've blown through almost 50% of what Marinaki said was the the transfer,
yeah,
the transfer budget, 30 million he had said. I guess I never talked about that. It feels like it happened so long ago now.
yeah. It
But
happened this week.
there
Yeah,
was a discussion about the new stadium. We can get into that more later, but he talked about 30 million being the transfer budget so far, and that's over half, almost half of that is just these two center backs. Plus, we already spent 2.5 to 3 on Maffeo. So there you go. You've already blown 50% of your budget on 3 players. We need probably another 6 as it is. So,
well, you're
I
gonna get
would,
money from you're
yeah,
gonna get money
go
from
on.
Stefetza. You're gonna get money from I assume Andre Luiz is out of here.
Probably.
You're gonna I think Masuras probably gets a sale back to like Saudi for like 1.5. I assume there's a Saudi team that's going to come knocking for him. He had a really good
Ortega
season
will
in
be
Saudi.
sold. I'm
Ortega
sure
will be
Ortega gets
sold.
sold. I don't think we get much money for him, but I think he gets sold.
But
And
you
then,
start to look at the team, as we've kind of like started to go through here, and it's the lack of Greek
yeah,
players is stunning. It's just, it's a real issue, especially Greek players under the age of like 25 years old, right?
yep,
Um, there's a few ways this squad, like the way I look at it, that you can go forward. I think at that right back position, you need to go like, if you're going to bring in someone, you have to go like a Saigakas, in my opinion. Like you have to bring in like a Greek player for squad purposes. You need to bring in like a Yanulis, in my opinion. If you sell Ortega and get rid of him, you need to bring in a left back, a Greek left back, in my opinion. It's just I don't think the team is looking at it like that. I don't think Mendy Libar rates either of them. But at some point, we're gonna get to squad registration, and I forget how it works, Adi. It's like we get penalized with less spots
yes,
if we don't
yep.
have
You can
enough.
register less
So
people, which basically is it.
so we're gonna deal with the situation once again where players are left out of the Champions League list. Circa
Mhm.
think of, I like to think of, what was it? 2022 or whatever, with James Rodriguez, with all those guys who were not
Yeah, and
registered,
Zinkernagel lost the
and
UCL spot.
Zinkernagel, and then we had a similar thing with Yazici this year with Remy Cabea. It's just such a disaster. You don't want to be in a position where you have players who are not registered for Europe when a lot of these players are basically coming because of Europe. And
Yeah,
so we're going to deal with a situation where people are going to, like Bruno Onyemaechi, if he stays, again, we have four. Let's say we have three foreign strikers. He's going to have to leave one off. He's going to have to
yeah.
leave one off the list, and then you go down through the list. Bruno Ortega, again, that's two foreign players. It's not logical. Yeah, so you have Andre Luiz, you have Rodinei, so you're really in a tangle here. You've got Scipione, you've got Eze. We're already, with the guys we have. We're like, we're above and beyond.
You
So
know, and the thing is too, Lambro, we're not like super far off right now with the numbers because
yeah,
okay, so for goalkeepers, the Sturnaras signing helped us, right? So now we
hmm
have Chulakis, Sturnaras, then we have Muzakitis. Um, So you have right now 3 club trained. Fortunis, I believe, counts as association trained. So that
Retos.
Retsos counts as club trained. So we're clear right now for club trained. Association trained is the only thing we're worried about. If we were to keep Masuras, for example, Masuras would count for association trained, but I don't think he's sticking around, so it doesn't really matter. The path of least resistance for us is to keep Siozios at the right back, where we already
Right.
have a hole to fill anyway, and you keep a kid like whether it's Feliz or Bakulas in the midfield to like back up that midfield that we have. Those are probably the easiest things we can do to get out of the situation. And especially because of the Greek Cup, right? You're going to have
Mhm.
2 of them on the field at all times during the Greek Cup anyway. So you might as
Yeah.
well.
This is the issue though with the Danny Garcia renewal because you're stuck with the guy now in that midfield. It's real,
Right.
real bad. Sort of. You look at the midfield. Can you pull up the midfield one, Adi? I think that's one of the areas I'm like most concerned. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got you got 2 foreigners, Heze, Scipioni, and then you have Musakitis, and then like that midfield is light to me, right?
Yeah.
Bakulas off of the ACL, Feliz we have not seen, and if you remove Danny Garcia from there, you're given much more options. You're given room to bring in like 2 more players, right?
Right.
But now we're pigeonholed with Garcia, who's going to want minutes, and Mendilibar gives minutes to. So you're in a tough spot right here. I don't know, Adi. What do you think you do with the midfield? What do you think our transfer strategy is here? It's like we've heard about, is it Cadu or something from
Cadieu.
France, from Lorient?
Yeah, from
So,
Cadieu. So from what I've heard from at least the feeling I get is that the club wants an 8, at least 1, maybe 2. So that tells me 2 things. It tells me that Feliz and Bakulas, probably no matter how good of a preseason they get, are probably not sticking with the team. They're probably not getting rostered. That's the unfortunate reality. Uh, but I also think there's an expectation that one of Santiago Eze or Muzakitis gets sold. And I believe that for a couple of reasons. One, we were made aware that Scipione could be 50-50 searching for offers, and he seems to be staying. So part of me believes that one of the caveats for Scipione staying was that there's a departure that would give space for him to get more playing time. So
mm,
I think the club is looking for 2 midfielders plus either one of Jose Muzakitis leave. For me, again, I agree with you, man. Like the easy thing to do is just get rid of Danny Garcia, keep one
mhm.
of Feliz or Bakulas, and then you bring in a number 8 because you already have multiple defensive oriented
Yeah,
people. And Muzakitis, even though he's like a playmaker, he sits deep anyway. He doesn't do the box to box running. You have to have at least one box to box player. But I believe personally that what's going to end up happening is we're going to get an 8, and Feliz and Bakulas will probably not get signed at
yeah.
all.
And
Mike
this is,
Skobakos, thank you
and
for the donation, by the way.
thank you, Mike. Thanks. And I think this is one of the main. This is where we go, where I focus really on the fullbacks, because you don't have room here for Greek players, in my opinion, in this midfield area. The Greek national team, the Greek football at the moment is very light on 6s and 8s, right?
Yeah.
So this is not where you're going to fill the Greek trained, blah 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 blah
No.
blah. You're going to fill the Greek trained area where there are Greek players available, right? So,
Well, we're talking UCL quality, right? Like players, like forget like academy kids. Like we're
right.
talking where you're going to sign Greeks that
Yes.
are of the level you want.
We saw Pauk paid the premium of like 10 million for Zafiris who had a mediocre season, right?
Yep.
So you're this is not the area we want to fill with Greek talent at the moment. Like there's a
No.
lack of Greek talent. Where does Greece have talent right now? Like left back, right? Everyone says that. Like you have Chimikas, you have Yanoulis, you've got Kyriakopoulos, you've got Koutris, you've got Likoyannis, you've got, and all of these guys are at a different level, like whatever. And then, and it's also the positions that matter. Like, does it matter if your backup right back is Sayakas or I don't know, whatever, right? Or Bruno Onyemaechi, let's say, like for the left side. It's like Bruno Onyemaechi, Sayakas, who really gives a shit, right? If it opens us up for squad purposes. So in my opinion, you gotta go for the fullback position for some of the Greek players. Or if we're at a point where Koutsidis doesn't get rostered, we need a fifth choice Greek center back. And look how well that ended up with Kalogeropoulos, man, at the end of the season. It can't be someone over the age of like 22. Yeah, so that's kind of where my mind is, and the next thing is like the Greek national team is decently strong at the striker position, but not really for us. Like you have Tete, who's not available to us, Kostoulas, Douvikas, one of the top goal scorers, Pavlidis, not available to us. So the striker position is not really where we're gonna fill it either. It's too expensive. I think there's the one winger from Scotland, Adi. Um,
Oh, the
forgetting
one
his
from
name.
Hearts.
Hearts, yeah. I'm forgetting his name. Anyway, like that's someone you could go. You know what I mean? But we're really kind of our options to fill this need are really pigeonholed right now at right back, left back, and maybe like I don't even think you can get a backup striker, a Greek backup striker at the moment. So
No,
anyway,
you're talking about Kizididis.
right,
Kizididis. Sorry for Hearts. Yeah, honestly,
something
dude.
like that.
And again, this is where I think probably the path of least resistance is, right? So you see our oops, that's the attacking midfielders, our strikers, right? We know Clayton's
Mhm.
regardless what happens, Clayton's going on loan. I really do believe that the club is only going to keep one of Taremi or Yaremchuk, and right now it looks like Yaremchuk is the one that probably is.
Oh, you're on mute, Adi.
I have always believed here that for me, a third choice striker should always be from like your academy or should be a younger Greek, like a third choice striker we're talking about, right? You have so many mouths to feed in this respect. And in the case of like El Kabi, Taremi, right? Let's say those are the two we stick with. Those are two that want minutes and they're going to be fighting for minutes. So your third choice is not going to see time at all. Yaremchuk left because of that. Clayton, you brought in for 5 million and it was a waste. So for me, a kid like Agelakis, who comes and is still highly rated by everybody within the club, I think it's a very easy thing to do. Make him your third choice striker. He's got the physical build. He has the physical qualities all ready to play professional football. He just needs to be kind of broken in that respect. Let him play
And
games.
he offers you something too, Adi. I don't know much about him, but I know he's like 194. It's like when we are down a goal or we are drawing with these stubborn Greek league sides and it's cross after cross, like maybe having a striker who's like a meter 94, meter 95 is like good to have on as like a target man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that doesn't mean he's going to play in the Champions League, but like when we're playing Panatolikos at home, like we did multiple times this season, we can't score. It's nice to be able to bring on, like for the Americans, like a 6'5" center forward, you know, to have as a target to play off El Kabi. I personally I would go El Kabi, Yaremchuk, and the kid. I think Taremi is finished personally. Finished player. For me, he can't move physically very well. I just don't think Taremi fits anything we're trying to do. Personally, I think he scored goals in the first half of the season, but I didn't think much of the player personally. I don't know. I know the Iranians like freaking nearly killed me when I made this take on Instagram. Like literally got so many hate messages, almost as many as I got when I said Mendilibar. It was time to go. So it was bad.
You just bring it out of people.
But the thing is, man, Taremi, what is Taremi? He couldn't play the Chiquinho. They said to us he's going to play the Chiquinho role. Didn't happen. He's going to be backup striker. He was mediocre at that too because he physically cannot handle the. He's pushing 35 years old. Yeah, here we go. See, Taremi is giving you 14 goals and 4 assists in 25 games. Okay.
Yeah. So I was going to say most people would look and say, "Hey, you got almost 20 goal contributions out of a backup striker." Right?
So people say, "Okay, that's good." But I'm looking at like what is going to take us to the next level? And when Taremi came on in Europe, the level dropped. We couldn't keep up with the level of play. And that's just a fact of the matter, that his body is not the way that we play football. I don't think Taremi fits it. Well, the thing is, like, okay, maybe we keep Taremi because the manager will be gone by October anyway. I'll hear that, right?
Well,
I'll take that.
To comment on that, you know, there's two wingers that we're expecting to come in this week. That also kind of makes this conversation a little bit more complicated, right? We know we have Jota Silva coming from Nottingham Forest, which for many reasons is a hilarious transfer, and then Joe Roca. Both of these players are supposed to be coming in this week and joining training. One I expect to be like a right-sided wing. The other I expect to do more on the left side. And both of these guys are workhorses, right? Lots of running, lots of stamina. Jota Silva is really not the most gifted footballer, we can say, right? But I like this type of transfer, I feel like is like a Sergi Canos type of transfer. You know what I mean? Like the guy's going to work hard for you. He's nothing flashy, but he's going to do the dirty work Mendilibar wants. And I think Jota Silva would be good for 10 goal contributions in a season. I don't think that's far beyond the capabilities, maybe more.
And when I start to think about the team of, like, again, we're right back to where we were last season of the team in Europe. And I'm thinking Jota Silva on the, like, holding one side, Gelson on the other side, El Kabi pressing, Chiquinho behind, Eze, Scipioni or Musakitis. I'm starting to see, like, and then Maffeo at the right back is like that hard-nosed defensive right back.
Yeah.
You're starting to see a team again that's like, oh, this team can play strong pressing, physical, counter-attacking football in Europe. And then in Greece, you're starting to go like, how is this going to work? You know what I mean?
Crossing,
like
baby.
You're starting to go. You're starting to go like, okay, like I can see how Jota Silva, Joel Roca, combined with the Gelson, Rodinei, whatever winger combo, and you're like, okay, like I can see this wing group we've developed working very well in Europe in the style that Mendilibar wants to play. In Greece, where we lost the title because Mendy could not adapt to his football to what we needed. We couldn't produce. And are we now leaning on Fortounis where, like, okay, Fortounis, you're going to be the, like, unlock in Greek football. You're going to play Champions League football off the bench probably. I would assume Fortounis is not starting most Champions League games, but who knows? He had a great season in Saudi. He may feel he's still capable of doing it. But then you're relying quite heavily on a guy who's done 2 ACLs and is on the other half of 30 years old, you know. Adi, I don't know if that's what you think about it, but that's kind of my take.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And like, while I agree also 100% with what you said about the profiles of Jota Silva and Roca, at least, like Gelson Martins, can actually like dribble on somebody. So maybe there's something to that, but like Petar Stanic, for me, as much as I don't think his profile is exactly like what Mendilibar wants to have, a profile like him, I believe, for the Greek league is a necessity. I also, I mean, he's a very clever player. He's not fast. He's kind of like, he moves the ball around like Fortounis, but he's not fast. And that's a kind of player that you need to like mix things up, especially when you're playing against those like pot 4 or even lower level pot 3 teams in Champions League that are low blocking against you. You need a guy like that because you're right. Fortounis can't do it all himself. So that's what I was really hoping Stanic, like this is like the one Darko Kovacevic pick that I think has some real value. Him and Popovic maybe, but Popovic we liked before Darko came. Anyway, the point is, I think Stanic is the type of player that like also helps you unlock, because like when you're looking at all of Mendilibar's choices, like the guy still, I don't know what he said to Marinakis in his press conf or in their talk they had about next season, but like I'm not seeing any change between like, okay, this went wrong, this is what we need to fix. All I'm seeing is like more of what Mendy wants. Wingers that can help you get wide so that the wingers can cross and continue to throw balls inside. And that's it. Like the players that would mix it up are, of course, Fortounis and a guy like Stanic. You know, that's the reality here. So
And maybe
I think
Stanic
as
is the
things
guy
go
we
on, we'll see
rely
more of
on,
that.
you know,
Yeah.
and Stanic is the guy we rely on. And maybe people are right. Like GS commented about, you know, Taremi had 2 goals and 2 assists in UCL. It was just by the end of the season, it felt like Taremi was just not there. Like physically, he could not keep up. By the end of the season, the requirements, it was just maybe that's where we missed out though, Adi. We didn't have a replacement for Chiquinho, like Costulas
That's the
could
big
play
one.
in that role. And like what we need is just like we thought Taremi would play in that role, and he just obviously couldn't. The amount of like physical activity needed. And from what you're saying, it feels like Petar Stanic cannot play that Chiquinho role either in the way that Mendy likes,
No.
you know. And so like the only player who I see on the roster, I'm gonna like dodge the missiles coming at me, is like Masuras, man. He played for the national team as like the second striker, pressing, running, whatever. And I know Mendy doesn't rate him. I know most of the fan base wants him gone, but like that profile of what Mendy likes in Chiquinho and likes in the second striker, it's like that's the only player I see who can fit that role right now. So I don't know. I also don't know. I'm not a scout, so I don't have the physical sort of statistics on Stanic, like how much he runs, how much he presses, how many kilometers he runs a game. I'm sure our scouting team has those figures. Adi, you would know better.
He's
So
just
they could,
slow. That's their
yeah,
issue with him. Like his stamina, he can keep up his pace,
yeah,
right? But again, like Ludogorets and pressing, man. Is there how much and this is like my variable with Stanic. Even though I love the guy, I love how he moves the ball. The issues
yeah.
for me are okay. I don't disbelieve that he has the stamina to keep up, right? He runs a lot. He's one of the highest he covers the most distance on Ludogorets. He's also he can keep up like the most high speed sprints for the longest period of time with Ludogorets as well. So like for me, that's not the problem. The problem is, can
Mhm.
this guy press in a system that is contingent on pressing? Ludogorets doesn't high press outside of Bulgaria. They're much more low block when they play in Europe, and then in Bulgaria, of course, they're the ones already pressing high, but he himself isn't doing that. So there wasn't a big sample size for me to say like, all right, I
Right.
see where he could be effective. So that's really more my thing with that. So
He's
like I
like a
saw
more
there were a couple
traditional
comments that said
10,
that he
I
didn't
guess.
fit.
Does that make sense,
Mhm.
Adi? He's like more traditional 10. Is that how you would
Yeah.
call him?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and he could play wide too.
Okay.
So it's we'll have to see what happens. But I mean, the one thing though that I will say I like at least is like, dude, at
Mhm.
least we're bringing in like younger wingers this year, and it's not all right now. Of course, the core that we have is old, but the transfers they're looking at for the forward positions are not are younger guys that can move and that can run a lot. So maybe that's the
Mhm.
one silver lining. We still need like 4 more
Yeah.
transfers, man. So it's maybe when we see who else comes in, we'll see if the puzzle starts to look like it's getting put together better. As long as we're seeing, I like to see different profiles so that we have different things to work with. So as long as
Right.
we're seeing that, I'll feel better. But you know, there's still a lot. The point is, like, even though players are coming in, there's still a lot that needs to be done. There's a lot of gaps to fill, and the Greek thing still worries me, man. Like, I still worry about
Mhm.
who they're going to pick, and I don't think Mendilibar is thinking about it at all. If I'm being perfectly honest with you.
Yeah. I I just that's what worries me is, to be honest, I think that not that the manager lost the dressing room this past season, but he did lose control at some point with like when you leave Cabea out, when you left Yazici out, I'm forgetting who else did he leave out. Whatever. There was like real tension in the locker room from
Yeah,
what we heard, and it's obvious it happens. And this sort of lack of investment in sort of a Greek core is going to come back to hurt us, whether in squad registration and more a cultural element. You know, the pipeline is kind of drying up of Greek talent, and that's a real worry, I think. So, yeah,
I hear you.
we'll see.
I wanted to ask you a question, Lambro,
Yeah.
before we begin to like
Hmm.
start to wrap things up. You know, we talked about it before, right? Between David Carmo and now Smajlovic, right? We're spending almost 50% of our budget just on 2 center backs, right?
Yeah.
Carmo coming in, we know Pirola took the starting spot from him. Carmo was our starter before. Smajlovic plays with both feet. He can play right and left foot. And he's technically gifted as well. He'll back up Retsos at least in the beginning. But, you see that we're spending a lot of money on 2 center backs here. And a lot of people say, oh, this is a young player, that we're buying who is playing in Norway. This is for the future, right? But part of me thinks, okay, I've never seen us spend 13 million in the center back area before. So do you think this means there's been discussion about a sale for Pirola? Verveles actually brought up, like, now that David Carmo's here, we can sell Pirola and not have to worry about it. But now that we have spent money on 2 positions in the center back, and we didn't just bring in a free like Domingos Duarte, I really am beginning to think maybe if it doesn't happen by August, it happens in the winter. But I feel for sure Pirola is going to get sold.
Yeah, I think the issue for Pirola is, one, the style of his play, and that he's not sort of like that passing central defender that a lot of these high, possession dominant teams want. And I think another thing that hurts him is as an Italian defender going back to Serie A, the top 6 there does not have the money that Olympiacos wants, right? I think we've talked about this in the chat. Like, I think they will go like, we'll buy him for 15 million, but with like 7 installments of like 2 million at a time, because they're broke and they don't have money. So the market, when you look for Pirola, has to be outside of Italy, and the English teams, I don't know, Adi. Like, I would have, if Pirola was to be sold to an English team, it would have been like Costinha.
Yeah.
Like, they would do their business early, and they would have been, because like if you're an English team, you can give like we saw for Costinha, they'll be like, okay, we'll give you $13 million and we'll be done with it. This is like pennies for us. Like, we want the guy ready for July 1st to be there for training, blah, blah, blah. So unless someone gets in a pinch, I want to say, Adi, I just don't see anyone having the money. And we're right back to Papa Boussissé, Olympiacos level, where it's like, unless you have a Premier League team knocking, I don't see the market for Pirola. And this is an issue for us in general. Like, the Italians won't give the money we want.
No.
I don't think a lot of the Germans will either. So the Spanish, forget about it. I don't think that they're giving $15 million to any Greek team ever. So your market in the end is really narrow. Like, top 6 Italian teams. And again, the issue is the Italians produce defenders. What they don't produce is like the flashy sort of attackers who they buy from abroad. So find me the market. Find me the market for Pirola, man. I think that's the issue. It's not the level of talent. It's his play style combined with the reality of who's going to pay more than $12 million for a transfer from Olympiacos, Ari.
Right. Yeah, especially like you already said, Pirola's not a modern center back. He's a catenaccio, like, no nonsense. He's good. He's good at what he does.
Great.
But like, the offers we've gotten, I think, was like, Roma wanted to loan him for a season with like a 10 million obligation to buy. Like, what? Well, we're never taking that. Like, but that's like what you're dealing with. It's not happening. I just saw this from Mike Skobakos. Guys, the plan has not changed. Like, I still don't know what Cardozo does. I know that Cardozo is involved with the Jota Silva signing because he has a connection. I think he sold Jota Silva to Forest, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Gordon still isn't officially a thing, so I'm not sure what he would have to do. But nothing's changed. Like, we're not targeting anybody new simply because these guys have joined. Nothing's really changed in that respect. Jota Silva's linked to us every summer. Funny enough. But anyway, I don't think there's so many ways that this can go. But my big the big thing for me that I'll continue to worry about is like this Greek thing. You know, there was a guy, somebody just wrote a comment that is we should touch on to MDM here. MDM 2653 says that we sadly lost Tsapras, so we have to take Vrusai, Saliakas, Kiziridis. We can't even take Vikos for a second left backs. But we also have to clear up some things. Like first, guys, we never had Tsapras. Kobotis and Alafouzos are much closer than Kobotis and Marinakis. He was always going to sell. At the same time, he wanted to sell. We knew since May that Kobotis wanted to sell Vikos and Tsapras as a package deal. Like, he's cashing out, man. He lost his coach to Cyprus, I think. A Cypriot team took him. Was it Apoel? Somebody took their Levadiakos' coach. And they're cashing out. Kobotis is cashing out from the season that he had. So he wanted to sell both Tsapras and Vikos together as a package deal. We weren't going to spend $5 million for two guys, especially for a fullback and another fullback we didn't want that we're going to loan out. Then they have a 50% resell. Is Olympiacos ever going to agree to a 50% resell for another club? Has that ever happened before? No, not in my memory. Not that I know of. Then there's Vrusai. Guys, Vrusai doesn't want to come back. He's happy. He's the captain. He's the big man on campus. He's a big fish in a small pond over at Rio Ave. Listen to what we've talked about with Joao Meneses from Reich du Ave on those roundtable shows. He'll tell you about Vrusai. Vrusai's loved there. He has no reason to leave. He's happy. He's extremely happy there. Saliakas, I agree with you, Lambro, but unfortunately, I don't think that's an option. I really think the club should go for Kiziridis, but I don't know what like the markup situation is. Like, I don't know what Hearts is. I don't know what their like market position is. I would think we could get him for a reasonable fee, but because he was their best player this season, I don't see, or one of their best players, we'll say, I don't see them selling him cheaply because I know that
also
like
you're
Rangers and
him.
Celtic,
You just had an amazing season. You're going to come back to Greece, the toxic hellscape that it is, and you're going to be behind Gelson, Rodinei, Fortunis. You're like fourth choice, and we haven't even broken into like Roca and the guy we just signed, or the winger we're about to just sign. Is there another one, or is that it? I cover it. I forgot.
I think anyway. You covered it.
There's another winger other than Joe Roca we're about to sign.
Jota Silva.
Jota Silva. There you go. You're like, you come in and best place. You're like fifth place on.
Right.
You don't come in to do that, man. Even if you're promised like you're.
How about this question? What percentage is Mendy giving you in terms of like uncertainty? Where's your bar? Where's your meter at for uncertainty?
I think this summer's gone really well, surprisingly. I think the center back, the Swedish one, I think Jota Silva makes a lot of sense. Roca, I'm not really sold on. I don't think much of him. I think our signings have been... Maffeo seems like a perfect player for what we want, like a real pit bull. I think there's work to be done, but I think so far so good. These are the type of profiles I want to see the club playing in. I don't know. I do, this Greek issue is real, and it's weird to me that the media does not like talk about it or ask questions about it. Right. I don't know.
For me,
it's real.
My concern was caveated, right? Because I didn't like some of the names I heard that Mendilibar wanted, like Unai Lopez. I had no interest in, but we didn't get him. He wanted to go to Rayo Vallecano. Whew. Pablo Maffeo, like I was very clear in the scouting report, like my feelings on him, but overall I'm positive. Mika Marmol, I had real concerns, especially about his height, but you know what I mean? We ended up not signing him anyway. So I think because Mendilibar's picks are not coming, like Domingos Duarte, I would have been pissed if we signed him. But thank God the guy was not budging on his over 1 million net salary this guy wanted as a third choice or fourth choice center back. But so my worries were Mendilibar's choices because for the life of me, I don't think he understands what he needs for a system, or what he wants doesn't match what is needed. But I think because we're not getting what he wants, like those players just aren't coming, we're getting like the players that are actually getting scouted and they're good picks. Like Joe Roca, we'll wait and see. That's fine. At least he's a younger profile. Jota Silva, I know people are shitting on him. I've been seeing so many fans, but like, guys, You want somebody that's a fit for Mendy's system. Like, it doesn't get more of a fit than that.
Yeah.
Of course.
The guy's a workhorse, man. The guy's a workhorse. I would say too, like, I think Hussein said it, like, this is a good summer. We're making our moves early. These guys are going to be in camp.
Early
the
for
roster,
us. Early for Olympiacos is
early for us. And I just, as this thing comes together, one thing I keep my eye on, I keep coming back to it, is the Greek element and the squad sort of restrictions. And then the second is the end of summer sort of blunders that come, like a Podense who's not fit and is like overweight and then kicks out Strefetsa, who was at camp. And then we're dealing with a disaster for the rest of the season. Those are some of the things I'm more concerned about. So I think that's my main concern. But so far, so good. Like, and I'm kind of, I'm interested to see what Cordon can do from the Latin market if we go back into that. Personally, we've talked about this, Adi. I think the Spanish market is pretty tapped. Like, yeah. I think it's pretty hard to find stuff there. So we'll see.
I agree with you. Even in second division, man, like, we couldn't get second division Mika Marmol, and we had the best offer on the table and offered him a signing bonus, and he still went to Feyenoord. He still went to the Dutch. Like, I'm with you, man. I don't like the Spanish market. Everybody's Mendilibar wants is there. None of them want to come. You know what I mean?
It's because they have a high sort of understanding of themselves in Spanish football.
Exactly. So anyway, I don't know. I'm not upset with how things are going. Like, I knew we had a lot of business. I wasn't expecting any signings before July 1st. We got 2, even if one was free and technically a return. So yeah. This is where I expected us to be. We're making moves. We'll probably get 2 more signings this week. Probably our big signings will be end of August. That's just how this club is. But as long as we're bringing in like some of these core pieces, they're here for the rest of phase 1 and then for phase 2 preseason. Right. We're in decent shape. I think we'll really see more money get spent and the budget open up if we actually qualify for Champions League.
Yeah.
But
I think
it's going to be a while away.
I think one of our bigger worries, that we need to like think about now is we're at July 5th. Our first qualifier is when? Like August, mid-August something? Is that correct?
No.
Or is it end of July?
Yeah, it's like end of July, first week of August.
I thought it was later because we got pushed to the later round with Aston Villa winning. Aren't we in like the playoff thing? We're not in the third qualifying round, are we?
No, we got pushed from the second to the third qualifying round.
Oh, was that it? Okay, I thought we moved to the playoff. Okay. Okay. Even then, I think we play mid-August. I don't think we play in July. Does anyone know?
No, August 4th. Okay. August 4th is the first. Like, you're right. If we were second, yeah.
So we're a month away. El Khabi has not had vacation yet, and he's still in the U.S. playing for Morocco.
Right.
Wow. We're going to need...
playing. He's not playing.
Yeah, but
he should be fine.
To be honest, we may need freaking Clayton, Yaramchuk, and all these guys to be rostered because El Khabi...
Until
he's not going to be ready first week of August.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I'm worried about. We're going to go against like decent opposition. It's going to be hot. These qualifiers suck. And, that's one thing I am worried about. Bringing in Jota Silva to come off the bench and Joel Roca so they're ready to go. You have Fortunis with experience. You have Rodine and all these guys. I think we should have enough to get through it. But, Jesus, man, these qualifiers are such one-off craziness sometimes. We'll see. That's that's kind of what I'm tracking too. Is like, hopefully Morocco goes out to France later this week, and we can kind of bring El Khabi back into the fold. So,
yeah. One final thing to talk about before we close up.
Yeah.
So Lakis has 1 year left on his deal, and he has not.
Also, Neymar just came onto the field. I thought he was injured, but okay. For the Brazil game.
Didn't he get subbed on in the last game they had too?
Oh, he came on again at the last group game.
At the end. Yeah.
But like, why are you bringing Neymar on, man? You're trying to win a game. Anyway.
maybe to draw an extra defender. But so
Watch,
the
he's gonna
Tsoulakis
bang in
renewal,
a goal now.
are you worried about this Tsoulakis renewal at all?
I think Zoulakis' time at the club is numbered. That's my take.
But
I
do you think he
it's
renews
this year or he's done?
At the end of this year, dude? His contract's up.
Oh, really? I thought it was
2027.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure his contract is up. Here, I'll double check. I have Yscout open.
I think he maybe renews for a year or two, like a 2-year renewal.
Yeah, it's up. It's up. It's
idea.
literally up in the summer. He's a free agent, and we haven't
this guy
really.
Popovich, Adi, I don't know what your take is, but my take was like this guy seems a little too good to be like a backup goalkeeper.
So you know what's funny? I actually did a scouting report on him last summer because we were told he was close, and I was looking at my notes from like getting that scouting report ready, and I remember being like, "There's just like I don't see enough. Like I don't see good reflexes, but like he didn't have a lot of first team experience." And like my biggest note was like I need to see him like in a first team environment to really see, because I was like I saw core things that I thought were good. Then I got more guidance from like our goalkeeping coaches and our scouts, like what to look for. But man, this season at OFK Beograd, dude, I watched like every save he made. I watched every goal he conceded. His reflexes are like, he's not, I'll put it this way. He's better than Tsoulakis this season. Like, but if you take Tsoulakis in Conference League form and double winning season form, he's like just under that. Does that make sense?
So my take on this is like he was probably promised like Zoulakis got another year and then he's being sold. Like there's a kind of a gentleman's agreement. And then you're kind of, this is how football works, when you're talking to a player and an agent who is, So I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at, a year or two extension gentleman's agreement and he's sold next summer or winter. I could see it too. So let's see.
I could see it for sure. Lambro, before we close up here, we asked the chat. We did a poll asking if the chat was happy with the current transfers. 68% said, or 67%, I'm sorry, said yes, they're happy. 33% said no. Now, 49% said they're happy, but we need more transfers. That was the majority of the yeses. Yeah. So I think it's good. Compared to where we were like 2 weeks ago, it's a lot more positive now than it was. So I think people are seeing at least signings come in, and hopefully, and maybe because of the announcement of the new stadium on top of that, people are happy for the future of Olympiacos, which 250 million euro expansion. That's going to be 53,000 plus seats. A lot of great stuff. A lot of things going on. Whether that actually does happen in the 3-year timeline Marinakis was talking about, I don't know, because there's been no approvals from the federal government, from the state. So I guess we'll see where that goes. But
we also need like an Owaka sort of like refurbishment, I would say.
Yeah.
Like it's tragic.
Greek football's getting so many new stadiums, man. Panathinaikos, PAOK, Ike just got one. Now us, like when was the last time Italy got a new stadium?
Yeah,
20 years ago.
It's worth the investment too. At some point, it would be great to host a not a tournament per se. I don't think we can do that. Maybe we can do it in partnership with Turkey or whatever. Yeah. I know there was talk about that, but no, it's great to have.
For sure.
Like I think 40,000 is a good number for a lot of stadiums. Like I think most Greek like Panathinaikos, us, PAOK, I think 40,000 is probably like the right number for most of us.
Yeah, but Panathinaikos is going to be like high 30s. I saw like over 37,000 for Panathinaikos.
That's right. I think we're beyond like 30,000. I think 30,000 is too low personally, but
yeah. You think we're going to fill 53,000 for Olympiacos? European games, I think it's easy.
European and derbies, yeah, but the rest, no, never. We don't even fill 34,000. We need to figure out a way to like get more like giving these tickets to charities, or I don't know.
To fill the stadiums. I agree. Yeah, maybe they'll do that because there'll be so many more tickets. I don't know. because there's so many like season tickets they technically can't do anything with. Like if you're a season ticket holder, they can't force you to give up your ticket. But like, you know, if they're not going to extend the season ticket holders beyond a certain amount, they'll be able to
and this
do
is
that.
also the issue. I think a lot of the sold out issues is basically this, like in the US or in other countries, there's like a strong sort of like aftermarket sort of system that the club runs or someone else runs that you can buy a ticket. That's like a real challenge. Like in Greece, anyone who's like tried to go to a derby game or tried to go to whatever, like we just need to make it easier to, you know, like if I'm a season ticket holder right now, the best way to get rid of your tickets is like texting your friends and being like, hey, I've got a free ticket. There needs to be a way where you can like easier, you know, sell it or, you know, give it to someone. So anyway,
I agree with you. Well, any other final thoughts, Lambro, before we go ahead and close it up?
No, that's it on my side. Just a quick one today.
Yeah. Look at that, guys. Lambro feels good about the transfers so far. So if Lambro feels good about it, then
I feel good about it. But let's see. The manager, I still have doubts. But you know, I'm gonna give him the summer through end of September. So let's see.
There you go.
I'm gonna
measured take.
Well, if he wasn't to be fired last season like I wanted, we got to give him some time. So.
Of course, you got to at least give him the time here. So I agree with you. There. Well, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. Some troopers here, over 430 people already tuned into the show, Lambro. Instead of watching, or maybe while they're watching Brazil-Norway, which is still about 20 minutes left here. So we're going to go ahead and close up. You can finish watching Brazil-Norway 0-0 at the time of recording. A lot of stuff going on this week. I believe Costa is going to be going to one of the preseason friendlies. I believe that's tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, I think you'll be going there tomorrow. So Costa will be heading there. Hopefully we get some great shots, and we're going to be keeping up with all of the latest transfer info. Of course, the scouting reports are coming on. Don't forget Patreon. You get access to the scouting reports early. The Maffeo scouting report is already released for public viewership, so you can check that out on our YouTube channel. Popovic scouting report is on Patreon. Smajlovic scouting report will be on Patreon, if not tonight, tomorrow night. And then, of course, whoever comes in and follows, I think Jota Silva will be next. So go and check out Patreon for all of that great content. And then until then, this is Thrylos International, by the fans, for the fans. We'll see you all.